Attorney, Jocelyn Fabello, Joey, Top 5 2019 Bar Exam. Please describe your learning style. I am a combination of a visual, auditory and experiential learner. When I read law books, I am also guilty of coloring, highlighting, the books. When I encounter an interesting concept or one worth noting, I write it down. If I have the time, I would write my own memory aid. If I don't, I would write notes on prepared memory aids and color them again. I do the same thing in audio, video lectures. Afterwards, I process my notes by studying them and lecturing them to myself while I walk. Hence, I don't really study in coffee shops. Please share your study techniques or best review practices which you think helped you top the 2019 bar examinations. Disclaimer and basic tips, reminders: I can't really say that I had a well-planned or optimal review. I was just like most bar reviewees, anxious, scared, and struggling. In fact, I am a bit ill-prepared for the review. I was not also able to ask around that much as to how to prepare for the bar exams. I panicked and read everything I could get my hands on. 1 month before the bar exams, I was not yet able to finish reviewing political law, labor law, civil law, some concepts in commercial law, criminal law and legal ethics. And, since I am based in Palawan, the anxiety is coupled with homesickness and adjustment, since I enrolled in a review center in Manila. Looking back, the following basic things may have been among the reasons why I topped the bar. 1. Diligent law student. The bar review is very short. You cannot learn everything in your 6-month review. Yes, there may be special laws and certain legal concepts which you can still learn during your review, but if you are going to start digging deep only during your review, for sure you will be overwhelmed. I was a diligent law student and I studied hard during law school. The review merely integrated and/or filled in the gaps, but the foundation was already there. 2. Codal plus syllabus. I read so many references during the bar review. As I said, my review was not optimal and I honestly panicked. But I always made sure that I covered the topics listed in the syllabus and that, somehow, I was able to integrate what I read with the codal provisions. I think this approach simplified the concepts and helped in my recall of things during the actual bar examinations. 3. Trust in your learning style. Even before the bar review, I was already considering online, self-review. I knew in my heart that I really wanted to have control of my review time. However, since I have not yet met people who self-reviewed, I enrolled in a review center in Manila. Though the review center helped, I found it hard to follow the schedule of the review center. Also, after 4 hours of listening to lectures in a hall, my brain would already shut down. Mid-review, I stopped attending the lectures. I read all day and watched audio, video lectures at night. I used a VLC app which increased the speed of the lectures. When I decided to stop attending the lectures, I felt guilty that maybe I was doing the wrong thing and that maybe I was missing out on a lot. However, all that went away when the results of the bar examinations were released. 4. Never stop studying. During my review, I encountered a lot of roadblocks. The area where I was staying in was so noisy, early morning and late at night. My room had no windows. I felt like I was going crazy. I was homesick. I transferred to a different unit mid-review. I had eye spasms after 10 minutes of reading. I got severe flu during the 3rd week of the bar exams. However, all that did not stop me from reading and studying. I read while lying down when I got the flu and flooded my body with vitamin C. I stopped reading every after 10 minutes and rested my eyes for 2 minutes to minimize the eye spasms. I made sure that I covered the lectures which I missed when I transferred to a different unit. Detailed tips. 1. Memorization techniques. Mnemonic devices are not that effective for me. I tend to forget them and mix them up. I instead use logic more than a mnemonic device. For example, there is an enumeration. I try to understand why such is included in the enumeration. I think this works for me because even if you can't exactly write the item in the enumeration, you can, at least, write something of the same import. I also sometimes use association. However, such takes a lot of time because you have to think of things to which you associate that which you are trying to memorize. 2. Bar materials. I will also recommend certain materials which I hope I had used for the bar. What I used in general: Lex Pareto, previous bar questions, chairman, woman's cases, landmark and recent cases, codals. I will no longer include these in the enumeration approach. Always link what you read with your codal provisions so that 1 month before the bar examinations you can just review your codals. Also, check your syllabus so that you would be able to cover everything that's listed there. Political Law 1. General Principles, Constitutional Law Primer by Bernice 2. Constitution, Natura, Cruz to clarify some concepts 3. Pill, Old Natura 4. Admin, Election Laws, Law on Public Officers, Local Government Code, Pill, San Beta Memory Aid 5. Lecturers, Professor Sandoval, Loanzin 6. Notes, Candelaria and Sandoval 7. Recommended lecturers, Cruz, Sandoval, Loanzin. Approach, for the constitutional provisions, make sure to read the references for the purpose of understanding the codal provisions. Understand why they are there and their interplay. Labor Law 1. Chan 2. For Law School Recall and Simplified Concepts, Azucena and Poquiz 3. San Beta Memory Aid 4. Lecturers, Professor Manuel, Dean Duca 5. Recommended lecturers, Manuel, Duca 6. Recommended books, Azucena and Poquiz Civil Law. So long, I really just wanted to use Jurado for civil law, but I thought I couldn't finish it. That's why I have a lot of sources in civil law. I couldn't shift midway through the review anymore. But Jurado would have been great one. Aquino in general, when I can find a good reference for a civil law topic too. Persons and Property, Rhowee. A tip, you have to partner this with the Rhowee lecture and read the book with the codal provisions for faster understanding. 3. Paris for Wills and Succession. 4. Jurado and Aquino for Obligation, Sales, Lease, Partnership, Agency. 5. San Beta Memory Aid for Credit Transactions, General Principles. 6. San Beta Red Book for Torts and Conflict of Laws. 7. Lecturers, Rhowee. 8. Recommended, Jurado and Lectures of Rhowee. 9. For Land Titles, Lectures of Re-Garra Tax. Try the codal approach for Tax. 1. Ingalls. 2. San Beta Memory Aid. 3. Lecturers, Lumbera, Professor Noel Ortega, Capuno. 4. Notes, Lumbera, Gruba, de Montpau. 5. Recommended, Lumbera, Professor Noel Ortega, Professor Eric Recalde, Local Taxation, Commercial Law. 1. Sundiang Aquino. 2. Mirabite but check, verify the answers. 3. San Beta Memory Aid and Red Book. 4. Lecturers, Villanueva Castro. 5. Recommended lecturers, Ceniza, Villanueva Castro Criminal Law. 1. Campanilla. 2. San Beta Memory Aid. 3. Notes, Campanilla, Tickman. 4. Lecturer, Professor Tickman Remedial Law. 1. Riano. 2. Re-Garra. 3. San Beta Memory Aid. 4. Lecturers, Brondial, Vilasis. 5. Recommended, Brondial, Salvador Legal Ethics. 1. San Beta Memory Aid and Red Book. 2. Notes, Professor Loanzin. C. Hours of reading. During the first few months of my bar review, I read from 8 in the morning until lunchtime and then from 8 in the evening until the wee hours of the morning, since I still attended the afternoon lectures of my review center. Mid-review, when I stopped attending the live lectures, I started reading from 5 in the morning until 7 in the evening, with rests in between. I listened, watched audio, video lectures at night. By the way, I damaged my muscle, which absorbs and prevents eye strain. So I don't really recommend reading too much. You should rest your eyes after 10 minutes of reading. D. Review Center, Coaching, Mock Bars. I enrolled in the San Sebastian Recoletos Law Review Center because I was a fan of Dean Riano and I liked their mirror approach, wherein the last bar subjects were being taught first. However, mid-review, I stopped attending the live lectures because I felt that I was lagging behind and because the lectures ran from 1 in the afternoon until 9 in the evening. Like what I said earlier, if you feel that online review is effective for you, then don't hesitate to enroll. I took mock bars which my review center offered. However, in my case, the mock bars scared me more than increased my confidence. My pace in studying is sometimes different from the schedule of my review center. Hence, there are times when I take the mock bar even if I have not yet finished studying the bar subject. Later during the review, when I got to talk to some lawyers, they told us that the key in mock bars is to just take the exam and not look at your score. The mindset is more of exposure more than assessment of how well you are doing. Mentoring. It was during the review when I encountered lecturers who were mentoring specific bar reviewees. Such concept was new to me, but if your professors would offer this approach, then, I think, you should accept it, as this would be beneficial for the bar reviewee. F. Scheduling. For my review, I followed the schedule of the Recoletos Law Review Center. However, there were times when I reviewed too much for a bar subject and failed to give enough time for another bar subject. During our time, the review center allotted 1 week for criminal law, which was my weakest bar subject. Looking back, I should have first self-assessed as to what was my weakest bar subject, then allotted more time for such subject. I should have also stuck with my schedule, as I was always lagging behind. 1 month before the bar examinations, I was still cramming. Mid-review, we were advised to follow this schedule, average of 2 weeks per subject for the first 3 to 4 months, then memory aid, codals for the month before the bar exams. I wasn't really able to follow this schedule anymore, as I was already in the middle of a messed up schedule. Please share your tips on how to answer bar exam questions, both in form, how you write print or cursive, pen use, blocking, margins, and content, etc. In general, I think the examiners were not that much concerned about form because I had a lot of erasures and my paragraphs were a bit slanted. For tax, my first page was a whole paragraph of erasures. Content, I had short answers. My first sentence contained my answer to the question, including a short and direct reason for the answer. And then I expounded a little bit, with sentences containing both the facts and the law. Form, I wrote in print and used Pentel Energel 0.5 in black. I tried to use 0.7 during the first week of the bar examinations, but my handwriting looked messy, hence, I shifted to 0.5 during the second week. I don't really have a good and neat handwriting, but I believe my handwriting is big and readable, legible. 4. What was your lowest moment during the bar season, if there is any? And how did you overcome it? During the bar review, I had a lot of setbacks during the bar review, which collectively lowered my morale. The area where I was staying in was very noisy. I could hear my neighbors early morning and late at night. I tried waking up at 4 in the morning and sleeping at around that time. The noise was all day. Our units were separated by plywood. My apartment had no window. Such, coupled with homesickness, made me feel like I was going crazy. I had to look for a new unit mid-review and transfer all my books and stuff mid-review. My first apartment was also a bare unit. Hence, I had to arrange for my other stuff in my old apartment to be shipped out. Come August, I started having eye spasms whenever I would read. The spasms weren't just dry eyes. They were intense tingling sensations at the back of my eyes, which prevents me from reading. When I had my eyes checked up, the doctor said that I had worn out the muscle which prevents eye strain. I bought new glasses and I had to take a rest every 10 minutes of reading to prevent the spasms from worsening. To overcome all of the challenges, I just kept on moving forward. I kept on reading and studying. During the bar month, my lowest moment was the third week of the bar month. Even if I had flu shots, I still got the flu. It wasn't just any flu, but one which really compels you to lie down. To sit down and read was a struggle. I read while lying down, and whenever I would study while sitting down, I would rest after a few minutes. I drowned myself with vitamin C and I even took antibiotics, but what I got was a virus. I wasn't able to fully study criminal law, which was my weakest bar subject. Come actual bar examinations, I felt like I was just sleeping during the criminal law exam. I wasn't really feeling well. I asked to go to the restroom a lot of times to keep myself awake. I also religiously took paracetamol to ease the fever. I felt like I failed the bar subjects, but nonetheless, I pushed on. 5. What words of encouragement can you share to the law students and bar reviewees, or to the public in general, amidst our battle against COVID-19? To the law students, you are in the best place to learn the law in pre-bar examinations. For the bar, you have more time. Make good use of it. Believe in the learning process. Have faith in God and in yourself. Also, the pandemic is really changing the world, and even the legal landscape as trial courts start trying virtual hearings. Now is the best time to be aware, woke, and to be curious, resilient, and open to changes. To the bar reviewees, so many online lectures have been recently posted. Make use of them and study during this time that we are required to stay home. Also, be aware of the issues during this time. To everyone, stay healthy and stay safe. If you can, help out even in littlest ways. Please share an instance which you think is your embarrassing moment during the bar month. Anything funny, humiliating that will inform many that we don't need to be perfect in order to top or pass the bar, i.e. I spelled 15th as 15th. The first case I in civil law was a torts question. Though I don't really cite exact provisions of the law, it was the only time that I cited an article in the civil code. I cited the wrong article. I wrote Art 2170 instead of Art 2176. Also in tax, my first page was an erased paragraph.